Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Azure Developers Live. I'm your host, James Montemagno, and this is a bi-weekly show that we do here on the Azure Developers YouTube channel and on Twitch, talking about all the latest stuff in the world of Azure for developers across all the different products, whether it's app service, functions, container apps, APIM, logic apps, and so much more. You're going to find it all right here on the channel. You'll also not only find great live streams throughout the month, but you'll also find great videos telling you all about how to use these latest features that are out as well. So this is live, so we're going to have some great sessions today and some good information about some new things happening in app service. If you are a Java dev, super excited about some new JBoss integration. We have Reza and Byra on here in a little bit, but first, we always like to kick it off with some links, some news that's going on here. So I want to share some things with everything that's going on. So we have a link here that's in the show notes, but also I'll put it up here on screen for Azure Developers Live. You can find it here, and this is this URL list here that we have. So I want to walk through a few things really quick. The first is that there is an upcoming next week SQL Conf 2025. I think Jerry's going to be joining us today, although he's out of office. So we'll see if Jerry pops on to talk about some API builder stuff. But this is really cool. It's a full live stream event happening next week on the 26th that you can sign up for right on the Microsoft Reactor page. So definitely give that a look. I'm real excited to see all the new stuff happening in the world of SQL going on. So you're going to see different sessions from the entire product team, from app dev to actual best practices and SQL databases, architecture, and a lot more. So check that out. Now, talking about free, awesome conferences, JD Conf is coming as well. This is a Java Developer Conference. And Asir put out a great blog post just a few weeks ago talking about the initial lineup of speakers that they have, which is awesome to see from across industries, from the communities inside and outside of Microsoft as well. So he talks about all the different sort of sessions that they'll be talking about, different topics that they'll be going deep on as well, whether you're building AI applications or looking to modernize your application or looking to see what's new in GitHub Copilot. There's going to be awesome sessions for Java devs there. And you can RSVP. You can go to jdconf.com right there. And it's going to allow you to register for JD Conf. Just click that button there. And it's kind of cool. They have this whole sort of like nice timeline of all of the different things happening. And the event is a multi-day event. So there's a live event, and then you can watch on demand afterwards. So April 9th, put that on your calendar if you are a Java developer. And of course, you can check out all the videos from last year as well from JD Conf. So check that out. Also over on the Apps on Azure blog, I love just diving through all the tech community blogs that are going on. My good friend Justin, friend of the show, Justin, did a great blog post if you're an ASP.NET Core developer and using Azure Easy Auth, and how to like really give granular controls deep into using the OAuth based approach here. So he talks about how he used app service and functions and container apps and static web apps like all together, and basically uses these. So there's some great blog posts that he talks about, like how to actually use Easy Auth in these different modes, and then actually how to use the NuGet package and actually download and get it integrated in, use the Azure Developer CLI, and integrate Entra ID directly into your application. So it's really simple. And I love that he uses emoji in his comments. I think that is just a best practice for everybody there. I love this. I think I might just steal that for all of my demos going forward, which is cool. So definitely check that out if you're using any type of authentication, and specifically Easy Auth as well. And I love it. It's a pretty deep technical blog going through all the different schemes that you may use. Another great blog post over here by Frank, another friend of the show, Frank. This one's talking about how he built an entire sort of application, not only with Easy Auth, so it kind of builds on that story that Justin just told, but using Azure Container Apps in C#. He calls it Note Bookmark, which is kind of similar to the URL list. But what I love about this is Frank goes through and he talks about how he, has these reading notes that he uses and does on posts, and he wanted to build this full application out using sort of modern web practices and different Azure services. And he talks about the different architecture that he has through authentication. He has a Blazor front end, a minimal API backend. Those are both running inside of container apps, and they're leveraging table storage as well. And he talks not just like, here's what I did, but he also talks about why he picked these specific specific pieces of technology for this application. So for example, he decided they wanted to use Azure Container Apps because it can only scale up if all of a sudden it becomes the hit of the web, but it can scale down to 0 when he's not using it as well. And then obviously he's a .NET developer, so he built everything in .NET as well, which is really great. So love that he went through this entire article and broke down exactly how he was using it, and with .NET Aspire, which is super cool as well, to really help one-click deploy, get that up into Azure Container Apps as well, which is really awesome. And then finally, one of the topics we're going to talk about today, Denver, who is behind the scenes, you won't see him today. He decided he didn't want to come on. So can't get a sneak peek. Oh, we're going to sneak him on. Oh, there's Denver. Oh, now he's gone. Sneak peek at Denver right there. Wrote a great article on running JBoss EAP on app service. What's cool about this, and Reza and Byron are going to go deeper on it, is that you can run this on the lower built-in support free tier, which is really cool. So I'm not going to try to pretend that I can go through and understand everything that's happening for this specific one. I might as well just bring on Reza and Byron here, and I'm going to bring up your screen, Reza, swap it out, and let you go. How's it going, guys?
Hey, thanks for having us, James. Also, I love that you shared that Easy Auth blog. There's this curious thing where when we released Easy Auth, we went to marketing and they were like, you can't call it Easy Auth. It needs to be Azure Authentication Authorization for App Service or something like that. But then everybody calls it Easy Auth. So I just love it that's what we roll with.
That's what it is. It's near and dear to my heart. It'll always be easy auth in my heart and in my mind. So, all right, I'm going to go hide myself. I'll let you guys take it away.
So hi, everybody. I'm here with Reza. We're both working on Azure App Service, and specifically Reza is one of the guys that helps us on the Java space. And I think we have like a ton of news around Java in general and JBoss specifically. So Reza, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what we're going to talk about, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. A lot of it actually is around, our enabling JBoss EAP on app service. It's not entirely new. We've had it out for a little while. In terms of product maturity, I think it's there. The last remaining bits that we had been working on for a little while is actually making it a little bit cheaper. And there's various ways you can do that. And unfortunately, when you have something like JBoss EAP, which ultimately is jointly developed with Red Hat, you need to work with Red Hat as well to make sure we can make it as cost efficient for customers as possible. So long story short, it took a little bit to get there. JBoss EAP isn't new, but there is a whole bunch of things that we're doing around JBoss EAP specifically. Not to say that we're not doing stuff on other parts of Java on app service, which would be the SE and Tomcat part. We'll be doing some stuff there as well. But right now, for now, the focus is on what we're doing on JBoss EAP to make it as cost efficient as possible for customers to run.
And one of the things that we did is the license portability, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about what license portability is? Why do we care about it?
Sure. So it's not, that part isn't GA quite yet, right? We're going to be doing GA very soon, and hopefully we'll come up with another announcement just like this. So I guess you can think of it as a bit of a behind the scenes look. So one of the things about JBoss EAP is that it's a licensed product. And often, one of the key use cases for actually JBoss EAP and the entire use case that this is trying to address, which is all these sort of legacy, if you will, application servers. These are applications often that have been running on premise for quite a while. It's not too unusual. We see 10, 15-year-old applications that need to modernize and take advantage of PaaS in some way. So what happens is these are not net new licenses, right? So these are deployments that have happened for some time, and often customers will have existing negotiated licenses, often very good license deals that they have with Red Hat. So by default, what we do is we do the easy thing, which is what we've been doing with JBoss EAP for a little while, which is that the licensing and support is built in as a sort of pay-as-you-go fee, right? Just like we have sort of these incremental fees for everything, even in terms of infrastructure. It's just a built-in part of that. But we're not going to be able to compete, with the type of deep discounts that customers already have with their existing JBoss EAP licenses. So you shouldn't need to, as a customer, you shouldn't need to rethink your licensing just because you're replatforming and modernizing and running on a PaaS platform now. So what we're looking to enable very, very soon, in fact, I almost would have hoped that I would have been able to say, hey, it's GA now, is basically apply those existing licenses onto the app service, JBoss API and app service, so that we basically zero out that part from, as far as we're concerned. We just build for the infrastructure from the app service side, and then the customer, continues their existing license deals and, deal with licensing as a separate concern with Red Hat. So that's what that's about. Not quite there yet, but yeah, hopefully we can GA that. I won't be able to demo that today, but I certainly will be able to show you at least the rest of the stuff that we've done in action.
Right, and I think we're literally just waiting for the rollout to complete on the last final regions, and that takes a little bit, but it's almost there. And then I think the other thing that we wanted to talk about is opening it up to more SKUs, right? So JBoss was limited to a certain number of SKUs. Now you can have it in other SKUs, including the free tier.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, best way to do that is let's hop onto the portal. So basically, let me hit create a resource real quick here and hit web app. And you probably can see my screen too also. Let me increase the size here a little bit. So let's pick Canada Central is not a good example. Not all the SKUs are available there. So let me pick US East, for example, and let me also pick my runtime stack now. So in terms of JBoss EAP, let's pick Java 17, and then let's pick JBoss EAP 8, for example, which I'll talk about in a moment. That's also an important one that we recently added, again, with cost efficiency in mind. But let's pick JBoss EAP 8 for the moment. And then if you go down and now do a selection of plans, let me zoom out a little bit more, zoom in just a little bit more. So it used to be that you really only had one pricing choice. In fact, I need to go ahead and change the region once again. Let's pick.
I think you just need to go create new app service plan. You were using an existing one.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, and
yeah, like give it a name, like create new, give it a name, and then that should give you the SKU picker at that point.
Okay. And yeah, you're right about that. Okay, so it used to be that you only could either deploy it on the highest isolated SKU or basically on the highest premium V3 SKU. And again, not all the options are showing up here, but basically now you can deploy it onto a whole range of other memory optimized SKUs in addition to all the isolated SKUs as well as all the premium SKUs. So what this means is you can really think about, okay, what is truly the capacity that I need for my application, and basically tailor it to exactly what you need, as opposed to needing to purchase an unnecessarily higher SKU than that you really don't need and sort of is excess capacity. So yeah, that's one of the things we did for sure. And yeah, this is.
I think the thing that deserves the call out, I think, is the fact that it's in the free SKU. So the free SKU, you're not going to run a production workload there, but if you want to validate that, hey, I have this app, will it run before you even think about paying us? You can use the free SKU.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's its intent there. It's for people to kick the tires and see how their JBoss AP. Sometimes customer, honestly, people that have been running things like JBoss on premise for a long time, they even find it hard to believe that it can run on something as conceptually modern as a PaaS. So yeah, I think having the free SKU there, that is a way for us to basically help people see the thing in action before they make any kind of purchasing commitment. So absolutely, yeah.
Sweet. So what else, Reza? What are we missing?
So best thing is let me just walk you through the announcement real quick. So the announcement, I and Denver co-authored it. We did put in quite a bit of the business use case, even if you're sort of just a decision maker and aren't day to day all that plugged into your JBoss AP development. I think if you read this blog entry, you'll get an idea of what we're trying to do here. So let me show you this real quick. And by the way, very nice quote from Julia. She was very kind to supply us this code for this set of enhancements. So this tells really how important this is, and how much we actually value the Red Hat relationship. As I said, a lot of this wouldn't be possible without Red Hat helping us with some of these things. So already talked about the license price reduction, or did we? No, I don't think we did. So what we did was we decreased the licensing price to 55 cents an hour. And basically what this does is it makes the price on par with, if you will, the ticket price, or rather the MRCP, sort of suggested retail price of JBoss EAP, wherever you may run it. If you want to run on Azure VMs or even on premise, generally it turns out to be this is the hourly rate. So it took a little bit of time. Initially we had this pricing a little bit incorrect, but now we're on par with wherever you want to deploy JBoss EAP, at least your average sort of retail price that you're going to get. So I think that was a very important change, and this is basically the pay-as-you-go plan, right? So if you don't have a existing JBoss EAP license, or you don't want to transfer it onto Azure for some reason, for example, you're just you prefer to do the billing through Microsoft, that would be another use case for pay-as-you-go. This is basically the pay-as-you-go where we reduce the price. So numerically, this is I think about 63% reduction. So it really makes it a lot cheaper to get JBoss EAP up and running using PayGo. So that's one change. Already talked about the additional SKUs, right? So basically, I think pretty much JBoss EAP is available in more or less all of the SKUs that would be realistic for someone to use at this point. Talked about the free tier, of course. And we also have JBoss EAP 8. Now, let me show you also, actually, I just showed you this in the portal. So as you can see, if you, for example, pick Java 17, you can either pick JBoss EAP 7 or you can pick JBoss EAP 8. Now, enabling JBoss EAP 8 is actually pretty important. It's a big deal. And again, we have sort of cost efficiency in mind around this. So JBoss EAP 8 was not released that long ago. It was released late last year. And the reason we're making a point of making this available right now as quickly as we can inside of App Service, in addition to JBoss EAP 7, which we've had in some time, is because of the fact that for JBoss EAP 7, the ELS period, extended support license period, is going to kick on pretty soon, sometime later this year. JBoss EAP 7 is going to go into its ELS period. Now, what that means is literally the licensing and support prices during the ELS period is doubled. So we will, when ELS kicks in, even in terms of our pay-as-you-go fee, that's going to have to double. Same thing for customers that are running JBoss EAP 7 on-premise today, or in VMs or what have you, right? So wherever you may be running JBoss EAP 7, that license price is going to increase soon. So if you don't want to pay those prices, or you want to minimize the time where you're unnecessarily maybe in the ELS period, you can upgrade to JBoss EAP 8, because guess what? JBoss EAP 8 is going to remain non-ELS for some period of time. And that's going to subject to that, roughly 40 or 50 cents an hour price, right? And same for us too. So we'll be charging significantly less. We're able to charge significantly less for you if you're running JBoss EAP 8 as opposed to running JBoss EAP 7. So the objective of making JBoss EAP 8 available now is, one, if you already have a JBoss EAP 7 deployment, you can begin kicking the tires there. And also, even if you have an on-premise deployment, this is a good time to evaluate whether you also move to App Service while you're already going to be doing the upgrade for JBoss EAP 7 to 8. And by the way, for JBoss EAP 7 to 8, you're moving from Jakarta E8 or Java E8 to Jakarta E10, which means you're going to need to do some code changes anyway. This is a backward incompatible change. And so there's some change involved anyway. So it's a great time to replatform and modernize your application while you're at it. And by the way, all of this is made much simpler by Red Hat Migration Toolkit. It has it's a static code analysis tool. If you're not familiar with it, it has pathways of analyzing, how your experience is going to look like going from JBoss EAP 7 to JBoss EAP 8 or any other this type of upgrade. And in fact, we have invested with Red Hat to create a specific path just for app service. So you can also run MTA to say, hey, I have a JBoss EAP application. I want to move to app service. What changes do you think I need to make? So that's yet another change. That's already available, already out there for people to use. And of course, we talked about the bring your own license, BYOL, which is coming very, very soon, right? As you say, literally, it's in deployment. It's going to be out there any day now.
Awesome. So we have a question from the audience, which is, what are the scenarios for using the new free tier that you would recommend? And free tier, keep in mind that it's a limited offer, right? So you get a small slice of memory, you get a small slice of CPU. So it's not something that you're going to use for like a heavy workload. You want this to learn the platform, right? Like there's some app service specific stuff that you might need to learn, and you don't necessarily want to commit to paying us, a couple bucks a month for one of the other tiers. So it's a good learning gateway. It's also a way to validate that, hey, you have a JBoss app. Does it actually work? Throw it on the free tier. You can test it that way. That's like, we think of it as here's how you can learn how to use the platform. So then you can go and graduate to one of the higher tiers when you have like a real workload that you wanna host on us. But the free tier is very flexible, right? It's not just for JBoss. You can bring whatever you want. We support .NET, Python, Node, whatever. And the free tier is perpetually free, right? Like the app service has had the free tier from, I think, literally when we beta the service to now. So it's been over 10 years. And you get like we might need to double check this one, but I think you get like 10 apps per subscription that can run on the free tier indefinitely, right? As long as you're within the sandbox of the limits that we give you. Okay.
Yep. One little nuance there. So just so you're aware, and again, yeah, absolutely. The free tier is basically for experimentation and adoption. It's if you're new to app service, new to trying to run JBoss EAP on app service, that's your vehicle. One little footnote, important footnote. If you are using the free tier on JBoss EAP, by the way, you're not going to get. It does not include a commercial support. So don't be calling Red Hat and saying, "Oh, I'm using app service free tier," or can you please support me? So you can do that if you're on a paid tier. So just an important footnote.
To be clear, the commercial support comes with your license, and you don't get a license when you're running on the free tier. I think that's the. Okay, so I think we have a lot that we talked about, so let's summarize. If you're using JBoss today on app service, you will see a price reduction in your bill without you having to do anything. You're welcome. If you have an existing license, we're enabling the mechanism that will let you port that license so you don't have to pay for your on-premise license and your Azure license. You can just use the same license. And what you see in your bill will be that you're paying for the app service portion, but be zero. So you won't be seeing that 55 or 0.055 cents an hour per CPU on your bill. That will be zeroed out if you're using the portable SKU. Then what will happen is you will also have the option to run it on additional SKUs. So it was originally limited to some of the premium SKUs. So now it's on all of the modern premium SKUs, including isolated and P0, B3, which is the entry point or the lower price point of the premium SKUs that we recommend people. I think that's one of the minimum recommended SKUs for production workloads. So cheaper and more variety of options for you. That sums it up, right? And then I think behind the scenes,
the free tier, yeah, and JBoss API, yeah. And
behind the scenes, we're working on getting the 8.1 of rolling out and on the platform, etc. So also, like, you want to make sure that you're on the latest versions because you don't want to be stuck in an older version and then doubling up your support costs, because like that's not even money that's coming to Microsoft, right? That's money that's going to Red Hat to support you on an old version. So best practice, always try to keep up with with the latest greatest. I think that's all from us. Back to you, James.
Oh, awesome. That's great. In fact, I did have a question in the chat, which was me, which I think you guys definitely crushed completely. So that's awesome to see. Yeah, I think like in this, like, what's the best way to give feedback like on the different just implementations as you guys are rolling things out with the team? You know what I mean? Obviously, besides joining an Azure Developer Live, but like, you know, how does the team engage with the community there that are focused on this?
So we have our Twitter account, and that's like the product team is looking at it. This is not like a marketing Twitter account. It's like actually Denver manages it. So I know he doesn't want to come on camera right now, but there you go. So when you're talking to our Twitter account, you're actually talking to Denver, who's in the product. So that's a good funnel. We also have feedback in the portal, right? So if you're in the Azure portal, and if you're on any of the app service UI, when you click on that, the portal knows to channel that to the team. And again, that kind of like comes to us. There's a couple other avenues. There's like a feedback forum or ideas and Q&A. We can probably give you some links to add to the URL list and that all comes, this is all the mechanisms where it comes to the product team. It just doesn't go to the void, right? Like we can't necessarily action on everything, but that's the.
So James, just to add to what Byron said, there's several. So we actually created a specific mechanism just for JBoss
cool.
in general. So I shared it in the chat with you. Feel free to throw it on the video if you'd like, right? So this is literally comes to a set of folks focused on JBoss EAP on Azure. That's one way to do it. And yeah, just to also add to what Byron said, you can always reach out to us. That's one of the powers of social media, right? And we're on social media, all of us. Certainly I am, and yeah, like as I said, I think that's true of everyone. So I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Mastodon, I'm on Blue Sky. Find a handle and reach out to me, and it's really just as simple as that.
Awesome. That sounds great. Yeah, I put the JBoss on Azure survey right there so people can go and check it out. And I added it into the URL list as well. So if you want all the different ones, there's the ADL there, and I'll post that into the chat here as well. So that way you guys can all grab it really quick here too. I'll post it out really quick there. Perfect. All right. Well, I don't think we had any other questions coming in on. I think you guys like crushed through everything. And I do think that Jerry is on holiday, even though he signed up to come talk about some new data API stuff. But this is great because we'll update the title of this, and this will be the whole JBoss free tier awesomeness as well. Any final comments, thoughts from y'all to give to folks to give it a try?
Good. If you guys want to see a demo, I do have a demo ready. If you want to see JBoss in action,
but we can do it. We got time. We got time. We got time.
So, yeah, and just remember, like Reza is also going to be. He's one of the featured speakers at JDConf, right? So that's if you want to catch more. If you can't get enough of us, that's another way to get more.
Yeah, we can do it, Reza, if you want to. If you want to like show it off in action, we can definitely give it a go, and then we can put it out as a video afterwards. We'll slice it out of the live stream.
Yeah, it's totally up to you. I can do a quick demo just for people say, hey, this people can see, hey, all this stuff is real. We're not just sort of in theory talking about it.
I'm ready. Sure. Let's do it. I'm bringing your screen back up. So now you're on. So now you have to. So
all right. So yeah, I've cheated. I've set up everything ahead of time, as we must always do for all these cloud demos, because while things are certainly much better than they used to be on premise, there still takes a little bit of time to deploy stuff. Especially, I want to actually show a real app with CRUD in it. So yeah, deploying the database often takes a little bit of time, and there's a bunch of setup. So long story short, I've cheated. So here's my setup that I've done ahead of time, and I'll share with you I'll share another link actually about if people are interested in giving this a spin. I've in my GitHub repo, there's actually step-by-step directions of how to get this demo up and running as well. So I'll share that in a moment, but let me just show you. So I've set up everything here. This is my little resource group. So in this resource group, I have a PostgreSQL database set up, and I have an app service instance up and running as well. So let's go and take a look at this app service instance. So this app service instance, as you may imagine, is is JBoss EAP 17, right? On and running on Java 17, JBoss EAP 8 rather. Actually, let's take a look at that for real. So let me minimize it, and we will do this. Close this window, go in here, and go in through here with the app service plan. And come on, you can do it. Okay, our super secure system has logged me out. So anyway, let me try once again. Yes, I acknowledge. Yes, thank you.
I mean, this is proof that we're doing it live and without preparation, right? That's the
right. Yeah, at least not as much preparation. But anyway, I just need to re-log in because I've been logged in since morning, and I believe it just doesn't like it. So anyway, there's the app service plan, and let me minimize this. Okay, so we'll go look at the configuration. Okay, and please don't log me out again. Thank you. Okay, so here's the major version is Java 17, and as you can see, it's running JBoss EAP 8. I'm gonna try to do a deployment live, right? So I'm going to let's go ahead and the way I like to sort of keep myself sane is I look at the log stream. So let's open up the log stream, and then we'll see the actual deployment happen. So here's my application, and again, I'll share the GitHub repo where this application resides. It's just a Java application. I'm using VS Code here, quite trivially in this case. It's a Maven application. You can see that it shows up in VS Code as a Maven application. Here's my Maven POM. I won't go over it too much. First thing I'm going to do is actually just do a build of this application using Maven. So that is simply mvn clean and package. And one of the nice things about Jakartai, the API that is supported by JBoss EAP, is that it creates a very lightweight artifact. So the build actually is very, very quick, especially by modern standards. Sometimes I try to work on these JavaScript projects and it takes forever to even build. So there's the build right now. In the end, what happened was I got the WAR file. Let's go take a look at the WAR file, in fact. So let's go into the target directory. And there's my WAR file. I also have a few other artifacts that I need for JBoss EAP. But let me hop back out. Next thing I want to show you is how the deployment actually happens. So there's as you know, as folks probably here know, there's many ways of deploying onto app service. But we actually have a very Java-specific way of doing deployment, and I think it's the most natural thing for Java developers, and that is that you can actually configure your deployment right in your deployment parameters right in Maven, and you can use the Maven plugin that we have to do the deployment. So here's the configuration. It's using the Azure Maven Web App plugin, as you can see. I've specified the app name that I've already created that you saw in the portal. Here's Java 17 and JBoss EAP 8 once again. And here's my deployment artifact. As you can see at the very end, there's a WAR file that I'm deploying. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so what I need to do here is simply mvn. Oh, no. Okay, let me make sure I didn't mess anything up. No, I don't think I did. Okay, yeah. And we're just going to go here and invoke the Maven command. In fact, actually, in VS Code, I can even do better. So let me show you how to do this in a visual way, actually. So if you look at the Maven, let me minimize this. So here's the Maven visualization, the little Maven part of VS Code, and you can go into the plugins. Okay, and you'll see that the Azure plugin is actually recognized here, right? So here's the Azure Web App plugin. And basically the target that I want to invoke is deploy. So let's go ahead and click run here, and we'll be seeing the deployment happen. So let me minimize this guy, maximize this here, and we should be able to see the deployment in action.
Do you have any VS Code extensions installed for this, or is it just
a Java one? Yeah, nothing very fancy at all. Okay, so
now what's happening is Maven is using the Azure CLI
Under
it's
the hood, yeah.
doing the build process, and now it's basically pushing the WAR file up into app service and also doing the database manipulation as well, right?
Just the database configuration, correct? Yeah, that is what's so when for people that are really into want to look at it in close detail, yes, we're also actually configuring the database on the fly as well.
Yeah,
The
and
database connection on the fly.
This is pretty much in line with kind of like the app service philosophy, which is we want to meet the developers where they are, right? We don't want you to have to do anything app service specific. You're using the tools that you're familiar with. In the case of Java, you're using Maven, which a lot of people in the Java community use, and we try to make it as natural and as idiomatic as possible, right? Like you're doing stuff that is natural to a Java developer, and the same with the Python support that we have. We try to make it so that you're thinking as a Python developer, not as an app service developer.
Exactly. Yeah, and I believe it is done already as we were speaking. So let me check here. Yeah, I believe the deployment is now done or almost done. So let me see. Okay. The deployment may be done. Let me get out of here and go back in. Actually, let's take a look here. What does the plugin say? Yeah, okay, let's give it a shot. We'll just control click here and open up. Yes. Okay, yeah, there's the app. So it's a very simple CRUD app. I don't want to really make too much of a big deal out of it. It has a REST backend, as is per normal. So that's it. It's really from a Java developer's perspective, it's really as simple as that. You have your existing app. Hopefully, you make some small changes to make it work with JBoss EAP. For example, in this case, using the JBoss CLI to do the database configuration, and then you configure your Maven plugin and just invoke the Maven command, and there you have your deployment.
Yeah, and coming back to the point about migration, right? We hear a lot of people that kind of like get stuck into that. Do I need to rewrite the application in order to migrate, or should I just kind of like put it in a VM and have to deal with like the VM updates, the platform updates, and all of that stuff? And I think that's kind of like what we're telling you is it doesn't take a lot of work to move it to PaaS. You don't have to rewrite the application. You can move to PaaS. You can stop worrying about, is my OS up to date? Is my Java version up to date? Those are the things that we do for you, and that should free up your time to do the other stuff that you might need to do, right? Like if you're at that point going to modernize the app, go for it. You're not getting stuck having to do all of the infra management tasks because the platform takes care of that. And like everything is AI these days, right? So if you need to start putting AI into your old legacy application, you don't have to go and rewrite it from scratch. You can do like the migration and start with that lightweight modernization and start using new technology, new patterns without having to, stop everything, rewrite the app, spend 2 years with that, and then try to ride the AI wave. So that's something that we see from people doing migrations today.
Yep. So just for completeness, I did post my GitHub URL. You're looking at right now. It's not actually just about JBoss EAP. I showed you the JBoss EAP portion, but you can also look at all the rest of the primary use cases we're targeting for Java. So Spring Boot, Tomcat, Quarkus, that's probably 90 to 95% of the Java space right there. So it's all here in this one repo. You can have at it pretty much.
I think that's a good call out. We didn't really mention it. We've been focusing on JBoss for this video, but app service supports anything from like Java SE. Just bring your fat jar over. Tomcat, JBoss, and there's plenty of different flavors in between. And yeah, pretty much we supported pretty much everything. I think the Spring is the only one where if you're using some of the middleware components and you're actually going more kind of like down the microservices route, I think you can look at ACA, the Java support that they have there, which is like purposely built for microservices. But other than that, if you have an old app, building a monolith app service is the way to go.
Awesome. This is great, guys. I really love seeing the deployment live. We'll definitely chop that up and put it out in a video separately here on the Azure Developers YouTube. Reza, Byron, and Sneaky Denver over there, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. There he is again. All right, cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys. See y'all later. And we'll put links to everything in the show notes below. There's an URL list down there. So all the links that Reza and Byron showed as well will be there. Cool. All right. I'll sign off from here and go from here. Well, thanks, guys. And thanks, everyone, for hopping on to the Azure Developers Live. We'll get Jerry back. I think maybe something came up to talk more about Data API Builder, but definitely check him out next week at the SQL Conf and also sign up for JD Conf as well. So many exciting things happening absolutely everywhere. Well, that's going to do it for this Azure Developers Live. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, make sure you hit that subscribe and follow button. And if you like this at all, hit that like button as well. Helps share it and helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. I'm James. I really appreciate your time, and definitely check out the upcoming live streams that are coming on the Logic Apps team next week, and we'll have some more integration services as well. All right, that's going to do it. Thanks everyone again, and have a good one.